Gays, come here, okay? I'm not gonna smack you, but we need to talk, baby. Hey bananas, cool, welcome here, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I know it's been a while, I think 2 months since I last uploaded, but university had me by the throat, girl. But now that I'm done with the semester and the year overall, you bet your ass I'm gonna be uploading a lot more soon. Also, I would like to say thank you for 10,000 views on my Queer Foods review. I mean, that video was a lot, okay? First of all, it was rushed. Second of all, I didn't have Wi-Fi, so uploading was a lot. And the fact that it did so well kind of motivated me to upload a bit more, because if that one video can reach such a milestone, surely my other ones can, and you know, gotta keep it driving. So today we're talking about Shawn Mendes and the whole situation around him. And if you do not know what situation it made, we probably do not have the same internet. Okay.
It's giving share.
So Shawn Peter Raul Mendes. Oh, look at me being a fangirl. So Shawn Peter Raul Mendes is a Canadian singer and songwriter. He rose to fame in 2013 when he started off of Vine, then transitioned into YouTube before he finally made it into mainstream pop. Okay. And a lot of people say his music is generic, but I actually like his music. Like, Wonder was that girl for me. Throughout his internet career, he had a mainly teenage girl fan base, but I guess as he grew, he started to attract us, With this attraction of such an audience, a lot of people started speculating his sexuality. And throughout all of these speculations, he's mentioned time and time again that he is a straight man. And we have seen him with a lot of women. His worst being Camila Cabello, but we're not gonna get into that right now. And he has also mentioned that even if he was gay, it wouldn't be wrong, which I guess is a statement that got our gaydars a little bit tingling, because we're so used to straight men having such harsh and brash and aggressive responses to questions about their sexuality. So when you have a nice gay man when you have a nice straight man who responds so well to such questions, it can get a bit questionable.
What is your favorite quality of Shawn Mendes? He's a good gay.
However, with him constantly mentioning that he is straight, the queer community seems to be fixated that he is one of us, especially the gays, since I said before that we are the most toxic. Oh, and cisgendered white gay men. Ooh, but we're not gonna get into that conversations right now, because I know how y'all twins like to tussle. And the countless number of memes, tweets, TikToks, and articles do not make the situation any better. What started as a simple joke within our community has now turned into a pop culture staple. But how did we get here? Number one would have to be society's obsession with people's sexual orientation. Society has always had somewhat of a weird obsession with public figures' sexual orientation. I mean, we've seen this with figures like Michael Jackson, Prince, Oprah, and her friend Gayle, where they've all had their sexualities questioned. And back then, it was done a little bit more innocently, I would like to put it, because you know how people weren't necessarily open-minded back then, so obviously they wanted to know who they were giving their support to, and if you had some sort of proximity to the queer community, they would withdraw their support. They didn't know better back then, but now we know better, and we doing this because of stan culture and the shipping of two figures together. I mean, we've seen this at its prime during the One Direction era, where Harry Styles and Louis Tomlinson were shipped, girl, and they were shipped hard, to the point where I think it made them uncomfortable, and some One Direction fans speculate that that is the reason why the band broke up after the whole Zayn situation. We constantly look for representation in media wherever we can, and sometimes we take that obsession out of the TV shows where we actually see queer individuals and we can spot queer references to real life situation and start applying that to real life people. And while this can be seen as harmless in the beginning, it can get to the point where it can be harmful, especially if the subject is actually gay. Then they are forced to come out on terms that are not theirs, and that can be very uncomfortable, and we know how scary that can be, especially if you're part of the queer community. And Shawn Mendes has mentioned a couple of times that although these speculations are getting to the point where they're making him uncomfortable, he knows a lot of gay people in the public scene that do want to come out but cannot, because they see the kind of backlash I think queer men get in the public spaces. Therefore, it kind of makes them want to shell up even more. And what I hate about this is how there's always a new figure to target, to out, when the old one was unsuccessful. Again, speaking on Harry Styles and Louis Tomlinson, the fact that we failed to out them, we are now looking to somebody else to out, which unfortunately now leads us to Shawn Mendes. And Shawn Mendes happens to be our target right now because of what Matt puts beautifully in his Instagram thread as society's issue with feminine men. Because Shawn Mendes chooses not to express his masculinity in a traditional way, he's automatically boxed with us in our community, simply because his voice is softer, he dresses in an unconventional way, sometimes, because I've seen him in very traditional man clothing. He sits with his legs crossed, he has a few mannerisms that are associated with queer people. And what do all of these characteristics fit? Gay stereotypes. Obviously. His voice is soft. Of course he's gay. He sits with his legs crossed. What about his balls, man? He limps his wrists sometimes. Man, he love faggy. Speculating around one's sexuality because of how they carry themselves is wrong, because number one, you're basing their sexuality off of stereotypes, and we know how harmful making assumptions based off of stereotypes can be. We're not only perpetuating these stereotypes, but we're also saying that there's only one way to be a straight man. It also affects closeted queer individuals because they see how these public figures are treated and ridiculed for being part of our community, therefore they don't want to come out, trust me. And it is very hypocritical coming from us as Gen Z, because we are the generation that talks about breaking down labels, gender roles, and stereotypes. However, we obsess over them at the same time. And this kind of leads me to my next point, which is personally, I feel like we obsess over these labels because there's a little thing called queer baiting. We've seen a lot of that recently. It got to the point where we feel entitled to know about other people's sexualities because it helps us determine how we treat them and to what extent we support them. I mean, as wrong as it sounds, we cannot deny the fact that the queer community is very lucrative. Therefore, tapping into a queer audience could be very beneficial for one's career. And now more than ever, we see a lot of these straight celebrity men make it a point to let us know that they have a feminine side, aka KJ Appa with his Fifi's whatever thing, which I feel like is just mocking gay people, and Harry Styles with his whole unlabeled thing. Which, let's discuss Harry Styles for a second. I feel like Harry Styles knows what he's doing. I feel like he knows how beneficial these speculations around him being bisexual are. Therefore, he keeps it running for a long time because it's good for his pocket and his social relevance. Because he's able to maintain a queer audience as well as a straight audience without getting under fire for dating only straight women, right? Because obviously he's bisexual. He's gonna date both men and women, and maybe he just hasn't met the right man yet. Because if he were to come out as either gay or straight, he is guaranteed to lose a fraction of his fan base. Which makes me feel a bit so stupid, because why are we so okay with supporting these straight men, hoping that they fall somewhere on the queer spectrum, giving them all of our support and standing them? However, we do not keep the same energy with actually out queer people. People like Troye Sivan, Sam Smith, Kehlani. We're not giving them that same hype as we would give a Harry Styles or a Shawn Mendes. Why? And then we get angry at them for mentioning that they are straight, because now we feel like they're queer baiting and, you know, they were luring us in all this time only for them to be straight. AKA when people got mad at Billie Eilish for saying that she's straight just because she posted an Instagram photo with her saying she likes girls. Girl, really? Shawn has said that these speculations have pushed him to the point where he has to prove that he's not gay, which would explain why his relationship with Camila has been very public compared to his other ones. Also, in a lot of interviews, he's been saying that these rumors have been very much frustrating him, and it's gotten to the point where he felt like he needed to come out as gay so that he could please the public. That is bullying. That is us bullying him to do something or be someone that he is not. And I feel like we feel like it's not bullying because he's a public figure. Sure, he can handle that. He's supposed to handle public scrutiny. But we forget that he's human at the end of the day. A massive majority of people telling you that you are one thing, that can fuck you up. That can really fuck you up. And with all of this happening, I think the gays are starting to realize that we may have took this joke a little bit too far. The joke is not tired. Trust me, it's not tired. Y'all are lying. The joke is never tired, girl. However, I do feel like we dragged it a bit too long, to the point where it's now a bit, it feels very much bullying. It feels very unlike us. It's not something that we should be doing as a community. And I hate the fact that some gays are starting to play this whole blame game where they're pointing fingers at other gay people, forgetting the fact that they also used to laugh or even add on to those jokes.
Like, are you guys not tired? Are you not exhausted from making jokes about something you don't actually know the full story on.
Instead of us taking accountability unanimously to say, okay, we as a community were wrong, we do apologize to you, Mr. Mendes, okay? We will never do that again, okay, sweetie? Why are we as gay people blaming other gay people when we were a part of the joke ourselves? You get what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? It's a bit hypocritical. At the end of the day, I feel like we should just lay this joke down to rest. It was fun while it lasted. But now it's time to, it's time to lay it down. And we should definitely be checking our gaydars because I feel like my gaydar is broken. We should know the difference between gaydar and wishdar. We wished that he was one of us to the point where we started seeing him that way and everything just added to that point. But he isn't, unfortunately. Let's do better. As a community, let's do better. I feel like we were not the ones that were supposed to be running with this joke. And let us respect other people's sexualities. Let us not make speculations. There's no harm in it, but like, let us not make speculations to the point where it becomes uncomfortable or harmful to the person that we're speculating about. And that is it for this week's video. If you want to catch people who spoke about this also, I know Frederic Chen made a video about it recently. His video was actually good. I know the news posted an article about it which inspired this video, and I will leave the link down below for it. Anyway, that is it guys for this week's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it or learned something from it, and I will see you guys in the next one. Anyway guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one. And remember, if you do not slay, then you do not stay, Martha. Bye.